I'd like to call to order the Proctor City Council meeting for Tuesday, January 20th, 2026. Can you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Perform roll call at this time. Councilor Benson.
Present.
Councilor Peterson.
Present.
Councilor Johnson.
Present.
Councilor DeWall.
Present.
Mayor Ward is also in attendance. Please let the minutes reflect all others in attendance, including Administrator Rich via telephone, Administrative Assistant Mizuko, and Attorney Verta. Looking for a motion to approve the pre-agenda meeting minutes from January 5th, 2026.
So moved.
Councilor DeWall made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Peterson. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. Looking for a motion to approve the city council meeting minutes from January 5th, 2026.
So moved.
Councilor Benson made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Johnson. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. Looking for a motion to approve tonight's agenda. I'll make a motion to approve tonight's agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor DeWall. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. At this time, we'll suspend the regular city council meeting for public hearing MnDOT SP 6908-72 municipal consent public hearing. So at this time, I'll call the public hearing to order. This public hearing is being held in coordination with Minnesota Department of Transportation regarding the proposed Highway 2 project. The City of Proctor formally waived municipal consent at its September 20th, 2025 meeting, and this hearing is being conducted as part of the required public process following that action. The purpose of tonight's hearing is to receive information from MnDOT and to allow members of the public an opportunity to provide comment on the project as proposed. This hearing is part of the formal process required under state law. As a rule, the City Council will listen to all comments, questions, and concerns related to the project. Council members will not be required to engage in back and forth or respond to comments, and this hearing is for receiving public input for the record. If you'd like to address City Council during public comment or public hearing, please come forward to the podium and state your name and city of residence for the record. To ensure everyone has an opportunity to be heard, comments will be limited to 3 minutes and must be limited to the project at hand. All comments will be entered into the public record. Anyone addressing the City Council is prohibited from using obscene, profane, or threatening language or engaging in boisterous conduct that disrupts the public hearing or the safety of those in attendance. With that, I'll turn it over to MnDOT and Mr. Brad to present an overview of the Highway 2 project.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay? Does this work? Thank you, Mayor, members of the council, and public. I'd like to give you just a brief presentation regarding the project. It's up here on the screen. So as stated, this is MnDOT project 690872, Highway 2 from Proctor, Highway 2 through Proctor. It's a pavement and sidewalk project. Go to the next slide. So briefly here, I'll review the project layout, which is the basis for the city's municipal consent. I'll give a brief overview of the municipal consent process, describe the project schedule and next steps. Next slide, please. So the project purpose. The project purpose for this project is to improve ride and extend the useful life of the highway. The existing pavement is deteriorating, resulting in a rough ride, high maintenance costs, and reduced load and carrying capacity. This project is located on US Highway 2 and goes from approximately a quarter mile west of CASA 13 on Midway Road to 1.14 miles east of CASA 14 at Boundary Avenue. The project consists of pavement resurfacing and rehabilitation, a combination of mill and overlay and full depth reclaim. We are adding some new turn lanes throughout the project. They're listed here at Hartel's and US 2 westbound right onto Highway 2, and we're doing a number of sidewalk improvements through town. MnDOT is required to do those under the Americans with Disabilities Act. And this existing signal system at Boundary Avenue will be replaced as part of the project. Next slide, please. So this is basically our project limits at the top left, Midway Road. Project begins and concludes at Boundary Avenue, going through the municipal boundary of the city of Proctor is shown. And then the next slide is just a zoomed-in view of that, depicting the city's boundaries, and again, underscoring the reason why MnDOT is requesting municipal consent. So this graphic, which is admittedly difficult to view on the page, has been provided to the city, and we can zoom into it if there are further questions, but this is the project geometric layout. The project geometric layout, we'll go through it slide by slide so you can see what the work is through town, but essentially this demonstrates MnDOT's commitments to the project in terms of geometry and roadway elements that are changing, depicts the project limits. The limits are where the project will impact properties and facilities within or adjacent to MnDOT's right-of-way. So if we go to the next slide, so we'll just be going through this from the north or west side of town to the east side of town, beginning at Railroad Avenue. Geometric changes here are pretty limited. We're providing the right turn lane into Railroad Avenue and perpetuating the bypass lane to the west and north. At Old Highway 2, right turn lane provided into Old Highway 2. Next slide, at Hartel's, providing right turn lanes into both of the Hartel's entrance and providing a more consistent alignment for those entrances across Highway 2, a more direct. Right now they're kind of askew to each other, so this should improve sight lines and safety at this intersection. Next slide is at Railroad Avenue, providing the right turn lane there. We're also widening the approach of that. We did get comments during the public input process about overtracking at that location. We're providing a concrete rumble strip on the north side where trucks are, and we'll also be providing additional pavement and structure, hopefully to eliminate the off-tracking and ponding and drainage issues at that location. Next slide is at 6th Street, and so no real fundamental geometric revisions happening here, but if you notice beginning at 5th Street, we are adding sidewalk on the north or west side of 5th Street, and if we go to the next slide, you can see where we're adding new sidewalk where no sidewalk exists on the east side of the highway from 5th Street to 4th Street. We are looking at exploring, as part of the project, turning back portions of 4th Street and 3rd Avenue that are on the right side of the panel to the city and normalizing MnDOT's right-of-way through this area. As we continue, and again, I think here is probably a good time to ground in at least on what the colors mean as they're changing. So yellow, for everybody's reference, is the new pavement. Through downtown Proctor, the pavement work consists of a 2-inch mill and overlay. The pink is new sidewalks. So all of the sidewalks, more or less, within downtown Proctor are getting replaced with this project. They have cross slope and condition issues that mean they don't comply with current ADA guidelines. And so we are providing new sidewalks throughout the project. Blue depicts the shoulder condition. If we go to the next slide, we should be at 2nd Street. Yep, 2nd Street. So at this area, we're similar fashion, replacing sidewalks. No real fundamental geometric changes to the roadway in this area. We'll review this later, but at the southwest quadrant, we are making some modifications to the ADA as it relates to the signal in that area. At 1st Street, per coordination with the city, we're closing 1st Street due to the steep condition there that has been a hazard, as we understand it, and should improve safety. And if we continue on the next slide to 2nd Avenue, work in this area has been coordinated with both the city and St. Louis County, so there was a gap in the system from Oak Street to Highway 2. This is 2nd Avenue is on the county system. The county was supportive and in favor of creating new sidewalk in that area. We're also adding a center median, that's the curbed island in red that should promote traffic calming and encourage vehicles to slow down. It will also provide pedestrian refuge for any pedestrians crossing at that location, and then they will get onto the other side of the street and move on from there. So the next slide, we're approaching Boundary Avenue. So revisions in this area are primarily related to the signal system. So if we go to the next slide, I'll just, this kind of depicts the essential modifications that are proposed here. So probably the main one is that we are introducing what are called offset left turn lanes. So currently, as I think everybody knows, if you sit and you want to make a left turn from Highway 2 onto Boundary, you're positioned such that you really have to kind of look through the vehicle if a vehicle is opposing you. So what we're doing is we're really moving these left turn lanes so that they're directly opposing. So it should give you a clearer line of sight to oncoming vehicles and allow that turn to be made more safely. We are, again, in coordination with St. Louis County and the City of Proctor, adding walk on the west side of Boundary Avenue from the north entrance to the American all the way south to Alice Street. For a portion of that, it will be provided as a shared use path, 8-foot shared use path that can be used by bikes and peds to accommodate the city's future plans to provide bike and ped infrastructure in that area. We are replacing all of the medians, the areas in pinks, the pork chops, and so on are all getting replaced. We are turning the Circle K entrance onto Highway 2 into a right-in, right-out only, so that red median on the right side of the page there will facilitate right-in, right-out movements only, eliminating undesirable left turn there, which is not considered safe. And I think that covers most of it. The other comments that we received at this intersection are just the seasonal issues with fog, and so we are also in concert with this signal system providing an advance warning system. So several hundred feet in advance of the intersection when the signal is getting ready to get engaged, warning signs will come up reinforcing the need to stop. And I think the last thing I would mention is we're also adding sidewalk, excuse me, from Boundary Avenue to Elder Avenue. So quite a few folks were observed during our field walks traveling from Zenith Terrace area to the Circle K and to areas in and around Boundary Avenue. So we're providing that direct walk connection to Boundary, and we're also making it possible for folks to cross Highway 2 if they choose to do so, and that median that's being provided for that right-in, right-out will provide some pedestrian refuge for folks crossing Highway 2 at that location, should they choose to do so. So that is essentially the layout and the commitments we're making. So this page just basically describes the reason for municipal consent. Municipal consent is state statute. MnDOT is required to obtain municipal consent if one of three things happens. So alteration of access, that is the case on this project. Alteration of access doesn't mean adding right turn lanes or left turn lanes. It means eliminating or adding access. So the closure of First Street, for instance, is an alteration of access that triggers municipal consent. Increase or decrease in traffic capacity. This is basically, are we adding traffic lanes or capacity through town? In this case, we're not, so that is not triggering municipal consent. And then the last one is if we are acquiring permanent right-of-way. And permanent right-of-way includes acquisition of permanent easements, drainage easements, or additional right-of-way, and that does apply to this project in certain locations. So if we go to the next slide, we'll just quickly go through the specific areas where municipal consent was triggered. So there is a red lettered note there that says close, so that access by Homestead, which is a, I think, defunct old driveway access, is getting removed. And then there is an entrance more like a depressed curb at that quadrant of Third Street into Keyboard Lounge that would get eliminated with this project, but still have access off Highway 2 and Third Street as shown. On the next slide, at the top right, that red box is a close, so we talked about that. The closure of First Street triggers municipal consent for this project. Acquisition of permanent right-of-way. So there are a few locations where MnDOT is obliged to seek permanent easement. This is one of them. So at this location in the southwest quadrant of this intersection, there is an existing county signal pole there, and if you stand out there, you would notice that the sidewalk is insufficiently wide between the curb and the signal pole. ADA requirements require a minimum of 4 feet. That existing walk is something like 2 feet. We've worked extensively with the city, evaluated a number of options. The option that we've arrived at here is providing that walk that would go behind the signal pole and connect into that intersection. Other changes there really aren't feasible. I'm sure all of you are familiar with some of the demonstration projects that have been done there. The curb really can't be moved in and perpetuate the needed truck turning, large vehicle turning movements, and this seems to be the option that offers the least impact while accomplishing the goal of providing a ADA compliant public sidewalk. Next slide on acquisition of permanent right-of-way is basically at Boundary Avenue. So here where we're adding sidewalks along the west side of Boundary Avenue, we're obliged to seek permanent right-of-way to accomplish those goals. And the next slide. So where we are at right now, you can see on this slide, we got 30% plans in September. We're conducting the public hearing in January. We're expecting 60% plans in April, 90% plans in June, 95% plans in July. The project will let, which means it will be out for bidding by contractors in January of 2027, and construction would start spring, summer of 2027 is expected to take one construction season. All of this predicated on your approval of municipal consent. I'm happy to answer any questions, take any comments if you have any. Yes, sir.
You always refer to municipal consent. What about the property owners along that may be affected by some of the changes?
Yep, so.
When does that finish?
That is ongoing. So MnDOT's land management office, where either temporary easement or permanent easement is required, our land management office, which is basically the folks who work with right-of-way, approach the property owner directly, explain the need for the temporary or permanent easement, negotiate with the homeowner to provide a compensable price for that temporary easement or permanent easement. There's a process that goes through that's coordinated through the appraisal. The homeowner also has, the property owner also has the right to seek their own appraisal. So there's several steps to go along the way to arrive at an equitable price for the acquisition.
When you go back to your timeline,
Yep.
when does that process conclude? Obviously before November for.
Yeah, we need to conclude it before the project gets turned in. So that, in that previous slide, yeah, November of 2026 is when we're seeking to have all the acquisition completed for the project.
Any other question, Councilor Benson?
Two-parter. What's
Yeah.
the total cost of the project from Midway to Boundary?
10.1 million.
And the Proctor portion?
Approximately $335,000 currently. Estimated 30%, that's subject to change. We call that the good faith cost estimate. So right now we're at 30% plans. That includes basically that's covering utility adjustments, utility work. The city's electing to do some lighting with the project. That's also reflected in there. So those are essentially the cost items.
Thank you.
I got one question for you on
Yes,
slide 15, 2nd Avenue and Highway 2. You're putting that median in, concrete median?
Apologize, I gotta.
Oh, you're good.
Yep,
Is there gonna be signage there, flashing lights or anything when a pedestrian, no? Okay.
no, we did discuss that. That's certainly something that MinDOT would be open to. Those types of signs and signage are, if elected to be put in, become the city's responsibility on MinDOT's right-of-way. And I think where we arrived at was open to it, but I think the city wanted to see how it would perform, if it felt like it was necessary. It's always something that can be added, but at this time, it wasn't felt to be a necessary countermeasure.
Thank you.
Is that the medium to the east of Boundary Avenue?
Second.
Second Avenue
Second.
and
Okay,
right by the car wash there.
got it. Thank you.
Which is better located than what it was originally, right? It was on the corner.
Yeah, isn't there one?
Yeah, but actually,
Because that's a turn lane.
see continuing traffic for sure, better at that,
That's a good spot.
the east side of it than the west side of it.
I just worry about the fog issue and people crossing there.
Oh, yeah.
I had one other question, but I can't seem to find it.
I have one while you're
Counselor
looking. I think that what I've witnessed in the last 3-4 years, and probably before my time here in Proctor, is the 2-to-1 going into the 1 lane in that section of road where you're gonna put the new median in and back, you know, kind of by the hotel.
West of Boundary. Yep.
West of Boundary is, it's very, I feel like there could be better signage or something with the lanes going to 1. I don't know if there's gonna be anything taken care of in that, but it seems to be a big problem where people are trying to merge, and it just gets kind of convoluted.
It is convoluted. We have spent quite a bit of time to try to improve that situation. It is complicated by the fact that that's a high-value entrance for the American, I think we can agree, and the close proximity of First Avenue. It kind of creates ambiguity, and somebody puts a signal on, what are they doing? Are they turning into the American? Are they turning into First Avenue? So we did try to clarify that with some additional striping, tried to provide more definition to the right turn lane, and did extend the distance past First Avenue to allow more time for that quote-unquote lane drop, so people can get back and merge more comfortably rather than feeling that they're kind of dropped at first and they have to sort of immediately get in there. So, you know, within the constraints of this project, and I didn't say it at the top, but I'll say it now, you know, this is what's called a preservation project. So generally, we're trying to rehabilitate mostly what we have rather than kind of creating new geometry, unless it's really necessitated to by safety. We think we did as much as we can. The challenge becomes, as you all know, once you get kind of west and north of First Avenue, the grade does not cooperate. So additional widening or changes there become problematic because things get very steep. So we have received comment on it. We've tried to make it better under the circumstances and expecting to see some modest improvement.
That whole block I've been here quite a few years, and when you're going where it turns into that single, most people are in the right, and then they're just flipping into LeBake or Second. I mean, that might as well be a lane. During points of high peak traffic time, which is in the morning, mainly at night, when people are coming back up, is where it gets really, and especially for the bigger trucks, they're slower. You know,
Right.
They had to just climb that grade, whatever percent grade that is. That's got to be at least a 6% or so grade. They're trying to climb it, and if they don't hit the light,
Yeah, it's a challenging
I don't know
spot
how
for
you
all
fix
those
it.
reasons. I mean,
I'm just
it's,
glad that they put something in there, because fog is, if I had to pick 2 intersections, fog is definitely worse at the Boundary and Highway 2, because you're coming up and you don't see it until you're there. And
Right.
everyone calls it the Proctor fog.
Yeah, well, hopefully, and, you know, that MinDOT will be putting new lighting on the signal systems, so updated lighting on the signal itself. The county's electing to put some lighting near the intersection. We'll have the advanced warning system, plus a new signal. Hopefully, all things being equal, should be an upgrade.
And then the Skywalk on Second and Highway 2 got thrown out.
It's gonna be a tough one to make happen.
Being that's a student, school safe route.
I got one dumb question. Slide 21, right on Second Street and Highway 2. You have a 13-foot TW, I'm guessing left turn lane. What is TW?
Yep, two-way left turn
Oh,
lane.
two-way, okay.
Also, center left turn lane, offering, the ability to turn left and right.
Cool, thank you. Any other questions? All right, on the agenda, it looks like there's no public testimony today. We had council discussion. Letter E is next steps, and Brad did hit on the next steps in the slide, but talking to Administrator Rich, it sounds like this is a 30-day public hearing, so more public comment could be coming in. So we'll have to take action on this at a future meeting, but did council have anything else to add, or Brad, did you have anything more to add?
No, happy to answer any questions, and certainly if any come up that you want to have us help vet, we can certainly do that for you. So.
Sounds good. Well, thank you for coming, and I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Brad.
Appreciate it. Appreciate the city's help and collaboration.
Yes, yes.
We appreciate you guys working with our city guys to make this better for everybody. Thank you.
Likewise, it's been a great project, so thank you so much.
Definitely needed. Definitely needed. So, all right, seeing no further comments, we'll close the public hearing tonight. City Proctor,
They pretty much discounted.
again, waived municipal consent on the project. All testimony received tonight will be included in the official record and forwarded to MnDOT as part of the Highway 2 project process. So, thanks for the public hearing. And we will resume the regular city council meeting. This time, it brings us to comments and suggestions from the citizens present or watching from home. So the City of Proctor welcomes everyone to tonight's meeting. The council will now open the public comment and suggestion period of the meeting. This is a time set aside for members of the public, whether here in person or watching from home, to address the council on matters related to city business. Each speaker will be granted up to 3 minutes, and before you begin, please state your name and city where you reside for the record. If you're here representing an organization or the media, you're welcome to include that as well if you'd like. The council will listen to all comments, though we are not required to respond or take action during this portion of the meeting. Recording and photography are welcome, provided they don't disrupt the meeting or prevent others from being heard. All speakers are expected to maintain decorum and respect. Obscene, profane, threatening, or disruptive language or behavior will not be allowed. Anyone who continues to disrupt the meeting after a warning may be asked to leave or be removed under the presiding officer's authority to preserve order at this meeting as provided by Minnesota State Statute Section 412.191, Subdivision 2, and Chapter 31 of Proctor City Code. Once the public comment and suggestion period concludes, the council will move on with the agenda, and no further public input will be taken unless the mayor recognizes you. If you'd like to speak, please come forward to the podium or dial 218-628-6268 to participate remotely. We'll pause briefly to give everyone a chance to join. About 1 minute. We do this for about 1 minute. If you could just let me know when.
I thought.
It's the draft.
Has it? All right. Hearing none, we'll move on. Looking for a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda. Before making that motion, I'd like to pull 4A. So with that being said, is there a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda?
I'll move. Second.
Counselor Johnson, Counselor Johnson made the motion, Counselor Benson seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. And that brings us to 4A, updated, corrected committee and commission appointments. We discussed this in the pre-agenda meeting, but I think we'll go ahead with these changes on it as is for now, but we'd like all the open positions to be posted for anyone interested in participating in any city business that we do here, planning and zoning, PUC, PETA, there's a bunch of different commissions, so watch the official newspaper for the city of Proctor, which is the Proctor Journal, and we should be getting some openings for positions that are becoming available. Any other discussion on that? Do we need a motion to do that? I mean, it's already a policy. We shouldn't need a motion to. Perfect. Hearing no other discussion, we will move on to 6A. 2026 Fire Department pay increase. Again, in your packet is a memo from Chief Elquist requesting the approval of the 2026 Proctor Volunteer Fire Department call-in officer stipend pay. They're recommending we do a 2% increase, which was included in the 2026 budget. Prior to our council meeting tonight in the pre-agenda meeting, it was discussed that some of the numbers reflected were maybe off a little bit, but with the wage study that we just did and everybody, all the employees within the city received at least a 2.5% increase due to that study, I think it would be fair to offer a 2.5% increase to the annual salary and the per call pay. I did run the numbers. It's the per call pay. If you take the 4503, it's going to go up to 4415 rather than the 88 cents that was proposed. So it's not much of a difference there. So I will go ahead and make a motion to do a 2.5% increase to the proposed annual salary and the proposed per call pay. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor DeWall. Any further discussion?
And that's for everybody.
That's straight across the board, yep. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. Brings us to number 7, closed session. This portion of the meeting will be closed as permitted by section 13D.03 to consider strategy for labor negotiations. Is there a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
Councilor DeWall made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Sent by Councilor Peterson. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. We'll resume the regular city council meeting. Brings us to members' concerns. Counselor Peterson.
Nothing, Mayor.
Counselor Johnson.
Nothing.
Counselor Benson.
Just to reiterate that we understand and appreciate the citizens' anxieties and concerns with what's going on in the state, and reassure everyone that, we are looking at what's happening through our association, League of Minnesota Cities, and the National League of Cities.
Thank you. Thank you. I got a couple things. Congratulations to the Proctor Journal on their 120th anniversary.
Thank you.
And the Proctor Moose will be hosting a bingo at 11 a.m. on Saturday, January 31st. That is all I got. Attorney Verta?
Nothing to share.
Thank you. Administrator Rich?
It's a very busy week this week. I have a lot of meetings regarding utilities and the development, and we have our annual I&I report meeting with WLSSD, and then we started the first of its kind monthly meeting check-in with Superior Water, Light, and Power with our with Proctor Public Utilities. So it's a busy upcoming week.
Thank you. That means you need to get well. Right. All right, perfect. With that being said, we'll entertain a motion to pay the bills in the amount of $189,533.16.
So moved.
Counselor Peterson made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Sent by Counselor Benson. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. Looking for a motion to adjourn. I'll make a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Sent by Counselor Peterson. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.